Alrighty, welcome back everybody. I am hoping that I'm running recording in the correct folder. Cool. Alright, let's get down through the list of things that we need to do. Room black box audio recording conduit. So we've had that set up in the one of the previous streams. I don't know how far we've actually managed to have it work. Let's see. I think there should be a bunker chunk with the black box recording conduit somewhere around here. Man, everything's missing textures. Is that still from the recording process? Huh. Okay. That's fine. Let's see if we can find, what is it? Dorm chunk, I think. Mini bunker dorm chunk. Yeah, that's the one. Man, everything is missing textures. What the heck? That seems a little weird. Hmm. Okay. Not sure what all this stuff is. Hmm. The night sky didn't load for some reason. Image loader. Godot, are you okay? Everything is breaking. The EXR file doesn't load, but we're not really using it. The PNG file is fine. Multi-mesh. Right. It's a lot of issues. Cool. So we have the radio decoder here. Let's take the player teleportation or player spawn point. Place it right here. I think the model has a bit of a crook in it. All right. Oh, running the wrong scene. Okay, I remember making a texture for this. Don't know if I saved it. Uh-huh. I might not have created the actual material. Haven't saved it. There we go. Nice. Materials, these are custom materials. Okay, and this would be the floor, which I think we're using concrete for that. Sure. See, the interesting thing is that we can actually build on top of this some additional geometry. Go. If you come across anything in game dev that you feel is daunting, um, I gotta say, texturing is probably the more daunting process. I like it when it comes down to interesting props, but usually there's such a vast, sheer, huge number of models that you have to make for a 3D game that it's not the grandeur kind of creative work. It's more mundane. Hence why I usually seek to find 3D modelers and texturers, or hopefully 3D modelers who also know how to texture, who can take over that process for me. Because it's, I'm trying to think of the on a higher level creatively. So that involves story, gameplay mechanics, narrative, mood, which involves music, sound effects, composition, um, and then when you have to toss in texturing, which is a huge, huge, huge chunk, you have to do there's even probably more work done in texturing than there is in 3D modeling. Then it just becomes a little much. Another daunting part I would say would be vocal processing. So when you do the recording, vocal recording, after you have to pick takes. So for every line, you'd have maybe like 5 or 6 versions of the recording. You have to pick the takes that sound the best. You have to chop them up. You have to uh, move stuff around, realign, clip and crop stuff. So when you have a lot of dialogue in the game, that process again it eats up a lot of time, like unbelievable amount of time. Music is a highly enjoyable part. It does take a lot of time, but because I like the process of writing music, I don't really find it daunting, right? I find it fascinating. Um, but for someone who isn't a musician and has to write music for their game, they're not using uh, let's say openly available or royalty free music, then I would imagine that process would also be daunting for them. Just audio works in general. Audio takes stupendous amount of time. And oh yeah, sound effects, which is, subset of audio. Yeah, you know what? I gotta say, audio is probably the top answer. it's, it's a lot of work, man. Hello. Might need to redo the vines because these are really, really pointy and they end up taking a lot of attention. Hmm. Excited to get new features, but that's also the most daunting thing. I can relate to that because there's been a number of times when I'm looking at something that I've never done before. I have a vague idea of how I might be able to implement it, but just the idea of the task itself feels so insurmountable until you actually take it on, and then, when you actually do finish it, you're like, what the hell was I complaining about? There's nothing. So yeah, it's the confrontation with the unknown, and you're not really sure how it's gonna come out. Why is the area gray? It's a separate scene. We're not in the level at the moment. I'm just editing the level itself. It's a roller coaster. Yeah, that's a good way to describe it. You realize there was nothing difficult about it. Ooh, interesting. We don't really want that. That's kind of stretched. I think our approach at making these vines wasn't exactly the best one. I uh, I made the texture first, and then I applied it to the 3D model, and then I distorted the 3D model to get the curvy tops. The problem with that approach is that it actually stretched the texture. That's not really good. So we might want to do it in the opposite way. First start with a 3D model and then create the texture around that. Hmm. Okay. Witness how people effortlessly make things. Yeah, I mean that's really a matter of experience. Because I look at 3D modelers, at how they make human faces, human figures effortlessly, and I'm like, I have no idea how they managed to do that. But that is on my list of things that I still need to do. Okay, we picked that up, and it crashed. Why did that crash? Set layer mask value on base null instance. Ah, interesting. Uh-huh. There used to be stuff here. Some of this stuff is missing. What is it? Body light. There's a body light too. Bulb. It's this stuff. I should probably do this in sandbox. Okay. Ooh. That's weird. It's pushing me out. That's never happened before. Hold on a sec. That's a static body. What? Why is there a static body? Oh, because we had reused a switch on the inside. Oh, that's not good. That's not good. We don't want that. Let's disable these. Why make this a rigid body over a static? It's wall mounted. Well, the black box is wall mounted. This is a remote control, which right now isn't really displaying correctly, so I guess we need to quickly make take out and put away animation for it. Okay, Dreadtail, engine, models, player. Not engine, assets, models, player. Yes. Beautiful. All right. Engine models, items, black box remote. Yes, there we go. All right, this thing's kind of big. See, this is the downside of doing hands. Is that every item you can actually take out needs a custom takeout animation. The shit? Oh. Right. When we import the object, we need to import it as a single object. Don't split. Mm-hmm. Dear God, that's huge. How big is it in the game? I mean, it's kind of big. Okay. Okay. Nice. There we go. Okay, it's a little janky. I'm not gonna lie. It's a little lazy. But we'll figure something out. Something that I wanted to make sure we do is prevent. I'm just gonna join this and copy it. Prevent the player from accidentally switching the animation or the audio recording by accident. That's honestly when I accidentally left click on something and that causes the audio log to restart from the beginning, that just drives me nuts. It's part of the reason why I had implemented the rewinding mechanic into the tape recorder, but I can't do that on every single audio apparatus, so to speak. Okay, let's see here. So this is inspect start map. No, we need the item takeout. Item takeout generic. Sure. Copy that. This would be item takeout. Black box remote. Is that the ID? Yeah, that's the ID of the item. So that's going to help pick the proper animation. Okay. Oh, that's interesting. I swear I know what orientation it's in. I modeled the damn thing. Who textured and rigged these hands? I did. This was a second attempt. First one I used a placeholder human mesh from a program called Make Human, which was used to be a Blender plugin, then turned into a standalone application. And I cut off the body, kept the hands, and then rigged with that. But the further you go with a temporary rig, the more you realize that you're probably gonna have to redo every single animation once you do a clean rig. So I figured, you know what, I'd better off just implementing the proper rig and just biting the bullet. How long did it take? Well, the rigging process was maybe like, I don't know, an hour or so. It's just repeating the same thing I've done before, and I've done a bunch of experimentation with seeing how I can set up a rig that works well. The biggest problem is the wrist twist, when you can see the wrist collapses into nothing. And the way I found that is apparently the most appropriate way to deal with it is you have a single forearm bone that doesn't deform anything, so it's a non-deform bone, right? Does not affect the geometry, and then you have four independent bones. If I go into edit mode, you see, oh well, okay. In this case, they're dependent, but I found that you have to make them independent, which that may actually cause issues later down the line. But they're four independent bones, and they're basically they're looking at the rotation of the last bone, and they're rotating themselves along the local axis by certain percentages. So I'm using the constraint. You can see the copy rotation only on the y-axis in local space, and then every bone decreases its influence by a smaller and smaller value. So that when I let's say twist the wrist and it collapses on itself, I can take this bone, twist it as well, and then you see it uncollapses the wrist. That is an issue with weight painting. I still have to kind of correct it, but we'll deal with that later. So yeah, stuff like that. Okay. Okay, I think my fingers are unclenching themselves. There we go. Hey, Zoltan. Got the stream with the hands connecting to the sub. Ah, yes. So that's kind of me propagating what I've learned into my other projects. Okay, we're gonna make sure that it's nice and out of the way. Okay, and then we need to make it settle. Okay. I may or may not have to create some sort of a button here. That That might actually have to be the case. Because there's two buttons here and here, or they're beside each other now. With the radio decoder, we can bring the unit closer to us. We can bring the unit closer to us to inspect it and then physically interact with the buttons. Boxing life at the Olympics. Ukrainian colors versus Ukrainian and Hungarian colors. Interesting. Did the sanctions against Russia propagate to Olympic events as well? Not really. Okay. I'll see. Okay, so here's the deal. I've designed this remote without consideration that it's going to be held by a hand before. And the problem is that now that it is being held by a hand, the dimensions might not be very intuitive. So I might have to do something like, I don't know, let's shorten this dildo hand, for example. Oh, that's not what I want. So we need to have a way of controlling. So I think what I'm going to do is create a button. There actually needs to be two buttons. One for the switch to the next recording. Oh, Discord's having trouble staying connected again. Have I seen the opening ceremony? I have seen screenshots and videos or snippets of the ceremony, and I think that was enough. I don't think I need to see the whole thing. That pretty much told me everything I needed to know. I feel like Christians need a crusade. It's been a while. In my humble opinion, I think the Last Supper is off limits. There's tasteful ways to do parodies, and there's just downright mockery. Okay, this is not looking all that great, although it's almost there. I just need to do this. I'd have to do this first. And then do this. Everything just being one-handed? Yeah, for the most part. Making two-handed elements might add some complications. unnecessary complexity, that is, not complications. There we go. Not triggered by religious stuff, don't care. Broadcasting chica with a dick. Yeah, well, that's my general approach to it, or general view of it. The further down the whole Western civilization, living in the Western world that I'm going, the more I feel like at some point I'll just end up making a political statement story game. I think it's pretty much inevitable at this point. There's a movie that was made. My dad and I watched it recently, and just kind of diving into the Soviet cinematography. It's called A Dog's Heart, and I think it's based on a novel. And it's basically the story of a professor who was, um, I think he was looking for ways of creating a new type of human. He ended up using a stray dog's brain, um, placed into like this deceased convict's body, and the it came to life, and it basically turned it into, effectively it turned into everything that you would find in the liberal world today. It's such an uncanny image. It is hilarious. But this was in the time when you had complete political dismantling, and liberals were just taken over. Um, and the entire movie is basically a complete mockery of that entire motion of breaking down traditions. Um, we've been down this road before. Now, that was what, like 60 years ago? That was 60 years ago. And the movie does not lose any relevance today. So, yeah. Okay, so that's a button. Not bad. Seen some awesome stuff for your off-grid plans. You've seen stuff that I posted, or some awesome stuff that you've seen that could be used for off-grid stuff? Could be useful. Ah, yes. I've been following some off-grid um, content creators, mainly things like rabbitry and gardening. Um, a lot of interesting things to learn. Now, granted, there might be an interesting phenomenon. Since I'm planning on moving out, hopefully, planning on moving out of Canada, there might just be the case where I'm not going to need any off-grid stuff because I'm not living in an environment that's trying to drain you out of all your potential wealth. But I still think it might be an interesting experiment just to delve into it because, well, that's what my grandparents did. That's what my parents did. Um, it's just an interesting thing to give it a try. There might not even be a necessity for it once I'm out of here. Solar panels made out of CDs and DVDs. That's the sort of stuff that you can. I think I might have seen that ad also. I think it's a book somebody's selling or a video series. But that's the sort of stuff that either you have to be already in the post-apocalyptic environment, or you have to have a comfortable living situation where you can experiment with that stuff and afford to have it fail if it fails. Okay. Off-grid seems to be long-term future-proofing. Yes, that's primarily the plan. And it's also just an attempt to see if you can minimize the amount of rat in the cage or squirrel in a wheel type lifestyle that you have to take on if you want to live in the civilized world. Civilized world, you know, quote unquote. It is maddening to see how far the Canadian average working class living conditions have fallen. It's very quite disappointing. Because imagine you're millennial, and then you're thinking, okay, at the rate things are right now, if I can make maybe 40, if I'm lucky, 50,000 a year, that's gonna allow me to live by myself, right? And then flash forward, if you want to live anywhere near civilization, that's like that's the fairy tale number. You need like 70 to 100. Probably less than 100, but yeah. Why is that beveling so weird? Huh. Okay. I might have to do this in a bit of a different way. That implies that there's a minimum and a maximum. There's an interesting way to handling loading bars in 3D that I found somebody on Twitter make use of. It's a very simple, but it's a very genius way of doing it. I'm gonna see if I can replicate it here real quick. So we're gonna do a screw modifier. Okay, we're gonna offset this just by a little bit. Okay. And then apply. I don't think we need to make it solid, but I'm gonna make it solid anyways. And then when we push it in, you can see how it like enters. You can see how it enters and then appears gradually. You can use this as a loading effect. As a matter of fact, I think this is what I'm going to end up using in Sublunaris for panels. It's a little wiggly. Nice. This is interesting. You make some fascinating effects with it. Not very fitting for here, though, because it's too smooth. Oh, that's better. That's a lot of geometry, though. Give me 50K and I'm set for 5 years. Yeah, see, this is another reason why I'm moving out of Canada. Um, I can move out and live somewhere where, say, 50K goes a long way. Like, Canada's not giving me any incentives to contribute to its economy. Not with the way they're treating people. Not with the way they're treating the working class. What am I working on? I am working on the radio, not the radio, the uh, black box um, control mechanism, which is a remote control technically. Okay, I think that should be okay for a single time use thing. Okay, so this is loading bar. I just want to experiment with it. If it works, it works. If it not, then whatever. Okay, and this is button, and this is body. Now what the heck is this? This is the dial, which is going to be part of the body. Okay. You know, it's a very weird conundrum with all the shenanigans happening. Um, the more the more I witness all the nonsense and degeneracy, the more it's pushing me to start looking into religion. I used to be, I wouldn't say atheist, but I would be fairly agnostic. I used to be fairly like, it's whatever. It is what it is. Being let be or whatever. But it's almost like a Streisand effect, where the more I'm confronted with everything that's happening, the more it's prompting me. What the shit is wrong with the geometry here? The more I'm basically prompted, motivated to start looking into religion. There's no way in heck that liberal shenanigans are providing a healthy alternative. It's almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy. Okay, so we have the button, we have the body, we have the loading bar. So this means this has to be a GLTF file now. Black box remote. Assets, models, not assets, no, this is engine, models. Items. We might have to animate a button being pressed here. I'll be interested in religion only if we'll be granted access to the Vatican closed library. Yeah, that's interesting. I feel like there's, I mean, in my opinion, there's so much texts that we could partake in and explore before even reaching the need for secret texts. The secret text in the Vatican is just a library card that says, "For all remaining text, please visit the Library of Alexandria." Okay, beautiful. So we got this. Liberalism is supposed to be good. Yeah. And for a short period of time it was, you know, fighting for the working class, making sure people have a comfortable life so that they have the motivation to contribute to society. Yeah. Of course, any successful motion is going to be quickly hijacked to push all sorts of narratives that don't belong in it. Same way it's written in history. Everything is written the way it favor one side. Yeah, history is written by the victor. Lockbox remote. Okay, this should be here now. Yes, there we go. So we'll pop that in here. Now that is going to change the way it looks. Oh yeah, the collision shapes are a little bit big. Remote. So this means we actually don't need these buttons. That is redundant. Redundante. Body. Okay. Orange. Actually, no. Well, can we do dark orange? Let's do that. Yes. That should do it. And then button can be regular orange. And then the loading bar is also going to be regular orange. Ah, the loading bar is inside out. That's not good. Hungary is a company licensed under American ownership. Yeah, I mean, I think at this point, so is Ukraine, isn't it? After that much money. It's not free money, right? They gotta they gotta pay that stuff back. Yeah, there you go. That's the effect. Except needs to be orange. There we go. Hey, Steven. Welcome back. Okay, puzzle light. Let's see what needs to be gotten rid of. Oh, interesting. Not a whole lot, apparently. Okay, so now with that done, right. Gonna make the center point actually be in the center. Copy this. Let's go back to the hands rig. And then, oh yeah, join everything. Okay, we don't need this. This is black box remote. Okay, so now we have a switch around which we can orient this whole hand gesture. The perk of living in India. It's in the middle. Not too much of anything. Just learn from extremes. Just learn from the extremes. Extremes of freedom, woke communism, and all other isms. Yeah. One particular thing that isn't too appealing in India is the question of just general cleanliness and hygiene. But again, maybe that's just propaganda. Maybe the street food vendors aren't as bad as the social media has me believing. The integrity of the electrical system. Dude, I've seen some horrors. I have seen some very, very wild shenanigans on that front. Okay. Okay, as long as it makes sense from the perspective of the player. That's all I'm caring about here. Okay, let's keep the finger off the trigger here. Hmm. One thing that I find interesting, I find it extremely fascinating, is the industry in India. So many tools that are made in India. And I'm talking like industrial grade tools. Now, I can't vouch for the quality of those tools. But considering that I've seen a platoon of very impoverished looking dudes with their steel toe slippers make industrial electrical engines, it is honestly nothing short of fascinating. The fact that they even can create stuff like that. Amazing what you can do on the side of the street and then have decent slippers. Yeah. I wouldn't touch the food though. I have seen the dude that makes cakes that you would find in grocery stores. Uh I've seen a dude in bare feet clumbering over some ingredients that he then picks up and puts in a big ol' industrial sized pot and then proceeds to make the dough out of it. And I'm like, eh, I'm okay, thank you. That's I don't think my stomach is quite up to the task of devouring, extinct diseases or diseases that are thought to have been extinct. I don't think my stomach has ever been privy of knowing what foot fungus tastes like. Ugh. Okay. So here we have this. This is takeout. We're gonna protect it. And then we also need put away. Item, takeout, item, put away. Oh, we have a generic item put away. Okay. Well, we'll see how that works. All right, GLTF. I must admit my sleep schedule fixing routine has gone down the drain. And I need to start over again. Engine, player hands, yes. Man, it is easy to just say, don't bring your phone into bed so that you don't end up doom scrolling until 2 in the morning. It is just as easy to slip up. It is unbelievable. Maybe I have a really addictive personality. It's the reason why I don't do drugs. Drugs would ruin me. Doom scrolling more and more now. Man, the modern day opioids. Dopamine hits. Doom scrolling is the worst. How do you even battle that? Like, I remember being successful at combating it by putting my phone on charge on the opposite corner of the room. And, technically, if you do that and you're already in bed, you're not really likely to get up and then go to your phone. I mean, that would be like an extreme case of addiction. But if your phone is being charged on a nightstand within arm's reach, you are likely to reach out for it and grab it. And I think that's what helped me before. and then suddenly I started, charging my phone next to my bed again, and that's not good. So I should probably try to do that again. Um, Curiously enough, when you don't have anything to do, when you're lying in bed and you don't have the phone at the reach, and you don't have an excuse to doom scroll, you start kind of exploring other stuff. Like I started looking into astral projection, which is this loony idea of leaving your physical body and exploring the cosmos, which honestly beats doom scrolling if it works. If not, then well, what are you really doing? Deep breaths and relaxation techniques? Oh no. What have we done? We've relaxed. I've yet to successfully astral project, so I don't know, man. It don't who knows. I think I've come close. Or at least I've described experiences that could not really be described otherwise. Let's get this thing up and running. I think it should already pick up right away because our takeout animation should be based on item IDs. Proud to say you've never installed TikTok. Okay, that's good. I've never installed TikTok either. But there's also YouTube and Instagram and Twitter and Facebook. It's all the same. Okay, and then we do this. Hey, okay. That works. Okay. So left click, what did that do? That crashed my game. Puzzle 3 push switch interact player. No such thing. So we are just going to do that. And then we don't need this. That's the right mouse. Those two, not a single one. Well, looks like Vishal's got his shit in order. He's doing better than all of us. But then again, maybe Vishal is not he's not a part of the population that needs to be pacified. Considering, if we weren't so doped out of our minds, I'm pretty sure we'd just rise up as one and heads would roll. Okay, cool. So this works. But there were two settings. There was a setting to advance the tape, and there's a setting to play the tape. So what we need to do is we need to protect the player from accidentally advancing to the next tape. So what I'm going to do is make the player hold the button. That's going to load up that little progress bar, and when it loads up, it's going to tell the tape to move to the next one. And I think that would be a nice way to protect them from accidentally advancing the tape. Okay. So we don't need the right mouse then. We'll have to combine advanced tape and play tape together then. Nicotine's my one weakness as well. Well, okay, sounds like you guys are in the previous addiction program. You guys haven't been graduated yet. Well, actually, no. Steven has. Like, he's got the double duty. Okay, let's do var hold time 0. Okay, we're gonna say that when we just press the left mouse button, hold time becomes time Yeah, let's do it in code. That's fine. Get ticks milliseconds. And we're gonna then check if we're holding. So if we take this time, or the current time, subtract from it the last time, this is going to be the time difference. Time difference. And then if time difference, I suppose first thing we need to do is we need to make, okay. If time difference is above 1000 milliseconds, then if the target black box is not null, it will tell it to advance the tape. And then we don't need this anymore. And then finally, we need to make the loading bar advance. So we do that by going here. I think the step might be a bit much. You know, if we're doing this, we might as well do this on a, let's see, on a vertex that is perfectly straight. Ah, dang it. The center point is off. So we need to redo that. Screw. We'll do this. That's going to be a little bit better, I think. And since we're here, this is where we can increase the rate, the poly count, because it has to have a high poly count for it to be accurate. Actually, you know what? We can probably make this, let's see, make it obscure the fact that it's doing this. Nah, okay, that's fine. Let's do solidify. Yeah, nice. Okay, that's perfect. So everything is procedural. We don't need to worry about it. Yeah, that looks a lot better. And then we're going to place that there. All right. Export. Dreadtail escape engine, models, player, hands rig. No, let's not destroy the hands with this thing. What am I doing? Engine, models, items. I'm kind of running on half battery right now. I'm sorry. Could you place animated texture in the displacement map? That is another way to do it. I'm just exploring this method first. I mean, the most straightforward way, I think, would be through the shader, a black and white gradient image, and then you just clamp that image and make the loading bar that way. Although animated texture actually is even simpler than that, except for the fact that every single frame of the animated texture has to be stored on the texture page, and that would take up some not a non-insignificant amount of space, simply because if you want the animation to be smooth, you gotta have a lot of frames. Body button. Oh, this body one. That's not it. This is a loading bar. Okay, you can update. Yes, you are. Except why is it just a spatial node? What? Hello? Does it not understand that this stuff here? Does it not apply to modifiers? Oh, no, it's not. Interesting. Okay, that's fascinating. I guess if it did apply modifiers, any animated armature object would be just recorded as a single pose. Alrighty. Gonna have to keep an eye out for that. There we go. That's what I want. The handle still reminds me of the Victorian massage device. It kind of does. But I haven't really explored any other designs for making handles. So that's what we're going to work with for the time being. Okay, so we are looking between this pose, this position, and the fully extracted position. I am going to borrow the remap function. There we go. Remap range. I should really memorize how it's written so I can retype it at will. Okay, so remap range. We're remapping the difference from 0 to 1000. It's going to be from here up to what is the position at which it's fully visible. That position. Oh, no, that's dark orange. Nope, that was the correct orange. Okay. That's the value. And then we're going to be talking to the loading bar dot position on the z-axis. And that's going to be this value here. So now we want to make it so that it is only doing this once. We could hypothetically check if the difference between the current time and this time is under 1 second. Okay. So we click, hold time, becomes, okay, so it's 0. If not 0, let's say this is what we're going to use to determine if it should still be going. So this is time was set, button was pressed. So if it's not 0, we're going to calculate the difference. It's going to advance. And then when it does that, hold time becomes 0. So this ceases to work. This position will be reset back to this value. And that's it. Is your remap range function doing something the built-in remap function doesn't do? I didn't know there was a built-in remap function. That was this project was ported from Godot 3, which, as far as I've looked into, didn't have a remap function. So, beautiful. I love it. Interesting. Is it because these are not floats? Global scope, remap. Oh shit. They did implement the function. Damn. Okay. Cool. Good to know. That's why you read the update logs. I don't know how long this has been in. Maps the value from range start stop to range 0 stop. Yeah, basically the same thing. Lerp, see also lerp and inverse lerp. Result value will also be outside. Okay, yeah, so it works quite literally the same. Cool. Good to know. I'll keep that in mind. Okay, so this didn't work. Let's try printing this value. It's just the same. Oh, no, it's working now. Somehow, magically. Okay, now you can kind of see it growing a little bit. We could just make it larger. Or, no. It's not about making it larger. It's about seeing the very edge as it's growing. So we could do this. So you don't see the edge. Oh, this is dumb. This is so dumb. Okay, I'll assume that it has loaded it. Okay. You can't really see it that much. As a matter of fact, the only reason why you can see it moving is because it has a texture assigned to it. It's got a pattern in the texture. If it's stupid but it works, it ain't stupid. Yep. It's our words to live by. Okay, you go away. And you... Oh. We're gonna give it a little bit of a glow. Nice. Also, shouldn't be visible from the get-go. Ah. And then I believe because we did that, we need to run super because the generic item script has its own ready function that needs to be executed as well. Kind of annoying, but it is what it is. Yeah, okay, that works. We need to add some sort of item sway. Used to be there. Also, it's kind of curious that up until this point, we haven't had to rely on an animation tree. We might have to, though, because we're slowly getting to the point where we need to blend things like walk, cycle, and item holding. Hmm. Okay. Cool. Now, we need to make the actual uh, black box advance. So we're running advanced tape, which increases the tape by 1. Handle tape select light. And then play tape has nothing in it, so that's lovely. Okay. Sure, that's fine. Let me just look something up. I'm gonna find a sound effect on Zapsplat for just some generic tape hiss. Toot toot toot. Tape case close, open, pick up, shake, take out of case. Ow, man. Hmm. Do we have some sound that's a loop that we can use as a placeholder? Test tone. Sure. Could work. Let's say, okay, so that's good. We're going to make the black box contain an array. Tapes. It's going to be null. Let's make it specifically audio stream, which is an array of audio streams. I don't know if we can assign null now. Or I could just hiss into the mic. I could. I definitely could. It's just the time factor. Room block box. Oh, right. It's got to be an export. There we go. So we have 4 empty values. And then we would assign one of the sounds to these. Okay. So let's say let me see if I can find maybe a vinyl sound. Vinyl crackle. Okay. That sounds like straight out of a frickin' whatchamacallit. Modern Rogue sound effects pile. Turntable needle style being cleaned. Nope, that's gonna destroy earballs. And the recording disc. Vinyl crackle and hiss. Yes, sure, we'll play that. It's only a temporary testing sound anyways. Okay. We'll download the MP3 file. Open. Okay, paste it in, and then this would be test. Final crackle. Okay, so that's done. And let's say that this particular black box has test tone on the second one, vinyl crackle on the first one, and vinyl crackle on the last one. Beautiful. So when we play the tape, we are going to have an audio emitter. Okay. Audio stream player 3D. Yes. We shall position it here. We'll have a speaker model or texture or something over there at some point. Okay. And then we'll talk to the audio, set the stream to be equals to whatever the tape we're currently selecting, which is tape index. And then if the stream is not null, we'll play. Okay. Okay. Now, the first time we interact with it, it shouldn't really advance to the next tape. Unless we can set the tape index to be 0. We could say, or tape index to be 3, so that when it advances, it goes to 0. We could also say that it's null, so that if it's null, it will be set to 0. Do we want to be able to control which tape we're on at the moment? Nah, that's fine. I think that's too much. If it's null, it will be 0. Else, we shall advance it. For making the tape start playing from the first one. Cool. All right, now. Right now it's playing stereo. Emission angle. Oh, that is interesting. We can make the sound only emit in a certain direction. That's new. I think I've seen Juan talking about Fancy Pants' new audio settings. They still haven't given us multiple buses, though. That's not really good. You have to have multiple buses. I'm hoping that's coming sometime in the future. Because only being able to send the sound to one bus is very limiting. Okay. Well, I think there should also be a way to insert the tape. Tape, duct tape, tape reel. Okay. I think this uses the same tape. Man, all the textures are gone. Come on. Tape? Did I not save the material? There should be a setting in Godot to auto-save all materials as physical files. No. We do have tape reel texture. I don't see tape reel material. Okay. All right. Fair enough. And this is, of course, before we created the plugin, so the naming convention isn't exactly established. Metallic. Roughness. Normal. Nice. Okay, and then save it. Custom materials, tape reel. All right, and then there's supposed to be another one. New shader material. Nope, new standard material. This is supposed to be the tape itself, which is highly reflective. Although it would be nice if we could have some tape marks, tape lines that we could apply here. To be honest, I think we can probably put something quick together. Let's see. Let's open up the tape. Is it here? Assets, models. Tape reel. Well, I don't see no tape reel here, man. Do we have... Is it going to be in, like, interactable props? Probably. Tape reel player. I think tape might be inside of here as well. Yep. Okay. Tape reel. Whew. Dang. Okay, fair enough. The only reason why I'm here is because I need to UV map this. And I need to... Oh, yeah, that's non-existent. This is going to use camera project from view. We're going to pack it up. Pack it up. Oh, pack it up. There we go. And I'm just going to export this. I believe this has to be a GLTF file because we're keeping the tape and the body separate. Tape marks with a badly mapped noise texture. Yes, or what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a normal map by lazily doing the same trick we did before with rendering, setting Blender viewport preview to normal, and then taking a screenshot of it and just applying it over the tape. And it'll get the job done just fine. Engine, models, props. Not props. Items. This is tape, not tape reel player. This is tape reel. I guess it's in props, interactive props. Oh, tape reel player. Tape reel player. Nope, that's not it. It's got to be in items. Unless these are two separate meshes, which it seems to be exactly that, so it's not a GLTF file. It's an obj file. Tape. I am losing my mind. Engine models, props, tape. Yep. Tape reel, tape. Tape reel. I think this is it. That's tape reel, and that's tape reel tape. Okay, now, new general. General Kenobi. Get rid of this. Okay. Interesting how I can't subdivide that anymore. Subdivide? Really? Right? Ah, well that makes sense, because I don't need to subdivide it that way. I need to do this. Actually, since we can insert the loops, I'm just gonna do it like this. Yes. Dear God, how am I gonna select every other loop? Hmm. God, what have I done? I watched that not even be the correct pattern. There we go. There's a method to selecting every second one. There is a method to repeating selection pattern. It's not exactly... it doesn't really work on loops. It works on single edge selections. Okay, let's see. Beautiful. And then I think that's basically it. We just take a big old lazy screenshot of this. Just gonna prep it in Krita. Can't check or deselect feature work here. It's too late to find out. Come on, do it again for us. You masochists. Okay. We're going to export this to where? Engine textures utility, I guess. Tape lines normal. All right. The shit? uh, huh? We re-exported the... What the heck? Tape reel. Oh. Yeah, what? Okay. Interesting. I don't remember messing around with the UV islands of the tape. Interactable props. Utility. Okay. Tape layer normal. Just gonna save it here. There could be a chance that UVs had been adjusted between the first time I made it and this time. Interesting. Problem is, I don't know if I still have the texture project for this either. It was lost in the great hard drive crash of whatever. Has anybody set up Git LFS, large file storage, to allow you to store files above 100 megabytes into the repository? Okay. That's just disappointing. So 2, 1, and then 1 in the corner. And then this has the same UVs. Just use OneDrive for that. Oh yes, that's not going to be detrimental to your files. Height map is not used. Yeah. That looks literally the same. What are you talking about? It's microshaft. Okay, tape, real tape. Did we lose the material for that? Yes, we did. Okay. Nice. That works. It's a little rough, though. Uh-huh. Okay, what's happening here? Why can't I see the vertices? Solid. Edit mode. Right. Okay. I hear France has a severe food shortage to the point where they can't actually feed the the participating sportsmen, Olympians. Suddenly all those decisions to shut down the farms don't seem so smart, huh? Can't exactly complete a 100-yard dash on vegan milk. Okay, this looks a lot less impressive. Maybe we do auto smoothing. There we go. Did that work? Maybe. I think that's exactly the same. I just don't want these lines here. Hmm. Yeah, that's gonna deselect the whole thing. And that's deselects everything. Beautiful. Hmm. Well, that's trippy. Hmm. I think that's quite literally as good as it's gonna get. Actually, you know what? That's fine. Let's use let's see if this is gonna work. Very faint. But I guess we can see what this will look like. Okay. Nice. Yeah, that sort of works, but honestly, it's less less impressive maybe. Looks like the ends are not very well mapped, or these things. Actually, we can solve that. If I save this first so I don't lose it, save as um, tape reel tape. So go back to the tape reel player. I'm going to take this, scale it down just a touch, and then this thing, we're going to unwrap it separately, except we are not going to be placing that cut. We're going to clear seam. We're going to select unwrap, which unwraps it as a ring, and then I can make it reuse the same tape lines. And that should be it. Yes. So engine models, this would be props. Props interactable, of all things. Might have to move it. Tape, real tape. Nice. That looks good. What doesn't look good is the rest of it. What happened? What is wrong with you? It's literally the same. If the UVs are the same, then the problem must be the texture. That doesn't look the same. What do we see here? We see this line's missing. This tall line is missing. Spacing is a bit different. Yeah, okay, so it is different. Okay. All right. Well, that's what that is. Let's see if we can go engine assets, that is textures, tape. Okay, I don't see it here. What are the chances the substance painter was small enough to be pushed? I doubt it. Prop. Electric. Well, terminal. Hmm. Watch that by saving the UVs and adjusting texture and critter. I have 5 textures that need to be edited. Okay, is this it? Duct tape? No. Tape reel. I see a zip file. Oh my god. Hold on. Tape reel player. Where is this located? Hold on a second. No, it's not in the search path, you idiot. Open the file location. Substance textures. Tape reel. Okay. There's the SPP file. Substance painter. Let's take a look. Can you edit multiple layers at once? If you treat it as one single layer, yes, but not individual components. So I can't do like a selection, a region selection, and then move the contents of the multiple layers only for that region, which is unfortunate. It would be cool if you could do that. I sure hope Adobe doesn't make Algorithmic go back into the earlier versions of Substance and implement their AI clause, forfeiture of intellectual rights for the AI training thing. That would be a real shame. Okay. That's the tape player. Which I'm glad we have this, but that's not what I need. That's the tape player, and I need just the tape. tape reel. Is that so? Yeah, we only have the tape, not the tape. Only the player, not the tape itself. Well, that sucks. Unless tape player buttons, duct tape, tape reel player, duct tape, tape reel. Yeah. Oh well, it is what it is. Let's go ahead and copy this. Let me. I don't need to do any of that. I need to just select this piece, and then we will export tape reel only. Don't need the tape. Let's do a quick one. If they do, then just pirate and firewall it to hell. Yeah, that seems like the only appropriate retaliatory answer. Okay. I believe there was a built-in metal that was like a weird patterned metal. Maybe this one? No. Should probably bake mesh maps because that looks like ass without the supporting textures. Hey, that looks cool. I don't think that's what I need, but that looks cool. Oh yeah, that's it. Huh. That's actually pretty neat. Get the color of the second one. Alrighty. Let's get some dirt. It's probably going to look even better. We should probably make it brighter so that we can actually see it when we're out and about. As a matter of fact, making the reel itself be brighter than the tape will make the tape part stand out. Because before the body was dark and the tape was dark. Let's save this. So this is tape. Okay. We need a paper label. The edge is too blurry. It's not good. Easy. Beautiful. Okay, we need to make it so it looks like it stands off. Like that. And of course, this paper is too plain. Okay, we're looking for that 80s piss yellow color. Beautiful. Fantastic. Well, I mean, it came out better than before. So that's good. Perfect. Okay. The paper is going to be blank. We'll populate a 3D label on top of it. Let's export. I made a new preset, which is same as Godot combined, except no height map, because we keep exporting height map and then disabling it, which is just a waste of space. because not everything needs a height map. Okay, Dreadtail engine, textures, items, substance. Okay, and this is tape reel. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this looks like ass. Okay. Tape reel new. Just tape reel, and let's just override the one that's there. Tape reel. Ah, yes. Yes. Should have replaced this one. That didn't do squat. Nice. Beautiful. Okay, that looks good. Tape is back. So now that we have it in here, we need to place it because it needs to spin to indicate that there's a tape inside. And what we're gonna do is, in the ready function, the black box doesn't have one. We're gonna go through the tape or X in tapes. If X is null, then we need to get rid of the tape in that slot. Okay, so we can do this. Take these 4 tapes. Do they appear in the same order? No, they don't. Okay. First, second, third, fourth. First, second, third, fourth. Okay, so we're going to go through here, and we're going to say that we shall access the tape that is X, and then queue free. Queue free that tape. Okay, so we should see only first and second and last one. Or we crash. That's also an option. Null and base array. Ah, right. No, not right. We're queuing free an item in an array. We're not removing the item from the array. Oh, X is, it's not an index. X is the actual tape. So we need to do tapes find X. So we get the index. If the tape is null, we'll use the index of the tape for second, third, fourth to access item 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, or 0, 1, 2, 3, and then queue free it. Or we crash again. That is also an option. Used space character for indentation. Oh, come on. You know what I mean. Fascinating. I think we need to make the tapes be stationary. Rigid body, deactivation, freeze. Right, and we also need to make sure that we cannot interact with them. Okay, nice. All right, yeah, that looks about right. Mm-hmm. Okay. Perfect. Now we need to make the tapes spin. Here's what we can do. We can make... we can have the tapes spin at a predetermined speed. But when we switch to the next tape, we need to slow down the previous one. So I think we'll need to store the speed of it. Okay, so we'll need to do var tape speeds. They will contain pre-existing speeds. These are rotation speeds. Let's make sure they're floats. Okay. Play tape. So I guess we need a process function for this. We will be accessing tape index. And that speed will transition to, let's do 5.0 times delta. Yes. Times delta, and we need to subtract the current tape speed divided by, let's say, 10. That's going to be the speed at which it will bring itself up to the rotation. But this only deals with one tape, the current tape. We'll need to deal with all 4 tapes. So 4x in tape speeds. Tape speeds.size. Let's loop through the size of the array so we have an index. Okay, so let's say if x matches the tape index, then the tape speed that we're currently addressing will bring up to this speed. Else, tape speed is going to reduce to 0.0, so no rotation at all. Beautiful. Tape speeds. Okay. And technically, now we need to actually apply the speeds to the rotation of the tapes. Okay, which means we actually have to loop through the same array as we have here. Let's make a variable called tape meshes. There we go. Okay, so we'll do tape meshes. We will access tape index. We're gonna talk to the rotation degrees dot and which axis are we rotating it on. That would be, oh, these already have some rotation in them. Oh, that's rotation idle. Excuse me. Which is also irrelevant because we now have custom animations for holding it, and these things wouldn't really even be held because we decided not to give the player the ability to equip each and every single item. Only the ones that have intrinsic interaction mechanics. Okay, so this would be on the x-axis. Plus equals tape speed. Okay. I've seen that there's a functionality for disabling and enabling objects. Does that have a wide application within, let's say, open world games? That basically did nothing. Because process function doesn't have an underscore in it, so it wasn't recognized as a built-in function. Because I reckon if you have a couple of hundred objects, all with process functions that have logic in them, a lot of logic in them, there might be an issue. Too much stuff running at the same time, so you have to start disabling things. Null? The hell you mean null? Tape speeds. Which part of this is null? Tape index is null. Right. Which makes sense. If tape index is null, return. Oh, it's there. It is rotating. It's not very fast, but it is rotating. Let's say the speed is going to be 25 or 55. We do multiply it by delta. Okay, it's better. Let's go double. And it is going to ramp up to speed a little bit slower. Okay. Oh, it stops immediately. Oh, yes. And then we also need to make sure the tape actually exists. So if is instance valid. The tape, technically the tape reference should still be in the array, even though we queue-freed it. Are you going to modulate the pitch and the speed as well? Yeah, once we get the proper voice sounds, it's probably going to be a good idea to do. Another strategy for managing objects in an open world game. Godot will tank with tens of thousands of nodes. Yes. Yes, that is unfortunately correct. Now, why does it just go? Tape speeds are all floats. We smoothly transition it to 100 times delta, and then that is what gets added to rotation degrees on the x-axis. Speaking of which, we don't necessarily have to rotate the tape. We could rotate this. This would be on the z-axis. Okay, let's go like this. I want the tape to slowly upspin. And now it just crashes. Is instance ID... Man, you know what function I want. I want is instance valid. And why did it not crash the first time? Okay. Okay. Oh, it just stops instantly. And then starts playing instantly. Man. We have tape speeds. Maybe we should print this value. Actually, let's print outside. And let's print the whole thing. You need another strategy for managing objects in an open world. Huh. The second one... Oh. That's weird. The tape never actually returned to 0. If x is tape index, otherwise it should return to... Oh! That's not right. That's probably why it didn't work. We need to loop through the tapes. Tape speeds, not the current tape. Hey, nice. That works. Except it stops immediately. Okay, what's the problem here? X plus equals 0.0 minus x speed divided by 10. Okay. Why are you just stopping? What the heck? It's not the fact that it's not a float, is it? Tape speeds plus equals goes to 0 minus the current value divided by this. That is correct. Oh, right, because we're only updating? We're supposed to be updating the tape we're looping through with the speed we're looping through. Which means we should be checking if the tape we're looping through is the valid one. There we go. Right. Pick. Nice. It's clipping a little bit. I'll fix that. Beautiful. You'll probably slow it down faster. 35. Okay. Beautiful. All right. That's fantastic. Now, logically, it doesn't make sense as to why the tape would play from the beginning. Might have to make it rewind itself after some time. Okay, well, that's fine for now. I think we can forego the rewinding part. A rewind button with the tape spinning back would be awesome. I would say no button, but I would say that maybe it can spin automatically. So when you move on to the next tape, it rewinds the previous one. That might be too distracting, though. And then you can't have the classic high-pitch reverse sound while rewinding. We have that on the regular tape reel. We don't have it on this one, because when you move on to the next tape, it doesn't really make sense to be playing back the rewinding for the sound of the tape being rewound, while also playing the second tape. So yeah, that's going to be a bit distracting. Okay, well, tis what it is. How much would it be to implement a rotation? tape speeds. So what would we do here? We would say, instead of adjusting this rotation directly, we're gonna add to the rotation within this array, and then the rotation of the tape will be set to this value. Okay, we'll say if the x is the currently selected tape index, then it has to add to it. Else, we have to take the tape position and then return it to 0. And we're going to make it fairly slow. Like this. That might be a little jerky, but I guess we'll see. Okay. And then it returns back to the beginning. It's very, very jerky, though. We could do this. If this is above 0.0, if the position is above 0.0, tape speed will subtract 0. Let's do 200 times delta. So we're going to subtract the speed. And then tape position will be moved like this. So we're going to add the negative speed here. And this is only going to happen until it is no longer above 0. Could tween it back with a bounce at the end. That is much easier. Well, the code is continuous, and tween would have to be event-based. But yes, that is possible. Ooh, okay. Let's do this. So if it's above 0, it will subtract. Else, if it's not above 0, so it has reached the starting point, multiply equals 0.95. It will reduce the speed, and then the rest is just applied here. That might work. Nice. Nice. And then I want to move on. That's pretty smooth. We're gonna have to make some sort of a system that has subtitles synced to the vocal recordings. It's fine. It's an array of containing times and subtitles. So when you launch a sound file, it will loop through subtitles. Subtitles will be stored in order that they appear. They will have a time frame when the subtitle appears, and then it will just constantly check if the audio playback time has reached that point in time. If it has, grab the subtitle, advance the subtitle index to the next one, and then wait for the next one to finish. Figure out a decent way for subtitles as well. If it's just for tapes, that's the way I would handle it. It's just an array of as a matter of fact, you don't even have to do this as an array. You could do it as a dictionary, where the dictionary, let's say the key would be, can we do a float as a key? I don't know, maybe. And then the value is the subtitle. And then you can just say, get the list of keys. The key itself is the time fragment, or the time stamp. You just check if the time of the sound file has reached this marker, and then if it has, grab the string, display it within some sort of a user interface element, and then advance your key to the next one, right? And because this is time, it would never really repeat itself, right? Half-Life 2 style closed captions, having each sound file have a type and a text. Yeah, that's that would be like above and beyond, like accessibility level subtitles. That's very interesting. Okay. There we go. Perfect. Okay. What are we doing on time? 2.5, almost 3 hours. How was that almost 3 hours? Holy crap. Interesting. Well, okay. So, that works. Is that something I can take off the list? Let's see. Room black box audio recording conduit, finish audio playback. We still have to do the voice subtitles thing for that, but we'll do that once we have something to actually listen to. Remote control for room black box audio recorded, that's done. Time flies when you're having fun. Indeed. Root system, we've done a bunch of this stuff. Remake hands, look at that, that's done. Thick wrist twist, yep, fix that. Throwing held objects, ooh, that might be a good one. That gives us an opportunity to do some basketball style puzzles. What can we do here? So let's make a piece of user interface. Assets, textures, utility, Bormal. Okay. What are we making? 128 by 128. Okay, I don't know what this is going to be, but I want to try a wiggling thickness progress bar. This might not allow me to have pen pressure. Need to reload Krita. Just going to do this as a guideline. Something like this. Imagine if your dog had worms, and then it discovered that you just bought a fresh carpet. If you make the throwing animation copy the velocity of the object, nothing so over the top. The throwing, the holding of objects is pretty much done by having a pin joint, and then there's no hand animation actually involved. I think that'll be a bit much, because then we have to make a custom animation, a throwing animation for every single object. I don't think that's going to be a wise way to spend our time. We've already barely found a solution to making sure that we don't have to pick up every single object or hold every single object. We haven't implemented it yet, though. Assets, textures. This would be not texture, technically. This would be a sprite. UI. Throw UI. Okay. Yep. Pung. Sprites. UI. Throw UI. Cool. Control Shift O. Oh. Layer. Got a UI. Texture rect. Throw UI. That's texture rect. Actually, we need something better. Texture progress. Okay. The progress part is the throw UI. If the value is 66, this needs to be clockwise. Almost, except the angle has to be adjusted. Like that. And then when we're at 99, it needs to be just short of the end. So when it's 100, it's full. Like that. Okay, can we get it centered? Mm-hmm. And then the value is going to be set to 0. Okay. Let me double check. And something is broken. Each mesh. Set layer mask. What did we add? I mean, the only thing we've added was that control. All the meshes are here. So it's not that. Ah, great. Okay, so let's go figure out what the heck this is. Each mesh is null. FPS hands mesh. Did I just break player hands? No, they're still here. Did I move them? Rotation helper. Hands rig. Armature. Skeleton 3D. Left check at low, left check at... What are you talking about? Set on base null instance. Which one of these is null instance? Left palm, right jacket, right palm, left jacket. Huh? Okay. Let's see here. Okay. Which one of you meshes is giving me trouble right now? Setting hands to FPS view object null. Well, that's not very useful. Of course it would be null. Okay. Well, we know it's something in that node. It's 0. It's the first item in there. Okay, so this doesn't exist, apparently. Let's see here. Rotation helper. Hands rig. Armature. Skeleton 3D. Left jacket low. It's literally right there. What are you talking about? Maybe I need to close and reopen the player. Maybe I'll close and reopen everything. Alright, let's see what's broken. Oh yeah, my hands are gone. The shoom? Hello? Child... No. Dreadtail. Engine. Models. Player. Hands rig. NLA. I think so. Hold on a sec. Damn it. Now I have to wait for it to export. Okay, export. Close this. Am I using NLA tracks? I don't think I've implemented... Yeah, I'm not using NLA exports here. I'm using just regular actions. I think maybe when I was exporting one of the models, I had accidentally overridden the hands. Maybe? No, hands rig is still here. Okay, as far as I remember, I haven't made any changes to the player. So I should be able to open up the repository for it and just discard any changes. Okay. Let's see. Maybe I accidentally dragged something. I vaguely recall accidentally dragging a node. Okay, discard changes. I believe I didn't make any changes to the player today. Oh, it's too late now. There we go. Player's back at it. Thank you, version control. Alright. I forgot what the hell I was testing in the first place. Alright. Whatever it is that I was making, I'm sure that it would have been great. What was it? Throwing. Right. Okay, so we did make changes to the player. And that's when I had accidentally dragged something. Okay. Got it. Progress, texture progress bar. This goes into interface. Okay. Progress. Throw UI. We want to center it. And clockwise. The beginning of it has to be right there. And then the end of it has to be right here. Cool. And then I wanted to test it to see how we pick something up. So what is it? E? Okay, so we do E. And then I think what? Left click. Oh, what the? What the? Wait a minute. I'm not even holding the damn thing. It's like, yeah, magic. There you go. We never checked if the item is held. Lockbox remote, hold. We have item held somewhere. Held. There we go. Alright. We now have unlocked powers of telekinesis. Beware and be afraid. If not... What? It's here! It is held. But not the right kind of held. Ah, dang it. Did I mix up the held properties? Shit. Okay. This is not the right kind of held. There's two types of holding. There's holding and there's equipping. Dang it. Player's null. Force let go. We're never really clearing the player reference, so we can't rely on that. Okay. Physically held item, so this is precisely not what we need. Prevent spawning items, scripted animations playing. I think this is it. So it's not held as true. It's equipped as true. This will likely break a whole bunch of... Well, maybe the radio. Maybe the flashlight, but that's about it. So we need to make sure that it's held. Yes. Alright. It is what it is. It's a learning process. We now know that we can hold things and then if we at some point get to Atomicon, I'm gonna fuck around with the player and I'm gonna allow them to drag the items from merchants' tables, but as soon as the item goes far enough away, the merchant will say, "The fuck are you doing? Get that back over here." No ifs, whens. Yes. Yes, I misspoke. I apologize. I apologize. I'm so embarrassed. My voice crackles. Let's see. Okay, so if it's held, if it's not held, if it's not equipped, we're gonna return. Radio detector. Player will grab a bucket. Yeah, they'll think we can exploit just like we did in Fallout and Skyrim, and then the merchant's like, "The fuck are you doing? Get over here." What? Seriously, we're gonna have some voice lines of NPCs being like, "What do you think? I'm stupid?" Just take a shit on Bethesda development structure. I mean, I'm pretty sure Bethesda kept it in all of their games because it's like it's an agency of giving the player agency to justify their actions, right? So if the player thinks they're smart enough to do it, then they'll feel good about it, right? But I feel like maybe the game recognizing it might be maybe not as rewarding of a quirk, but I think it would be funny. If you put it in the bucket, you're not actually holding it. Yeah, that's the thing, right? Okay. If not equipped, return. That's good. So now that should stop working. And also, a whole bunch of other stuff will stop working. That's working. Okay. What? Right. We haven't implemented that little nugget. Oh, did that actually still work? No, it doesn't. Okay, good. Alright. That's fine. Let's get back to the player. I dread to find out how much stuff we just broke with that one thing. Okay, we have interaction. Grabbing. Object interaction. Looked at rigid interactable. If something is held and grab is pressed, drop that item. Okay, so I suppose we can implement it here. Throwing held item. Is physically held items not null? Then this would be with the left click. So if input is action just pressed, left mouse. So just press means we initiated it. We need to make a record of the hold time. Throw time. Okay. Throw time is 0, so throw time equals time get ticks msec. Then if is action pressed, so while we're holding left mouse, is it left mouse? Might be. We could have something equipped that uses the left mouse. Maybe we should do right mouse. Man. Right mouse is engaged with map and it's engaged with the map, radio decoder, or locator, so we can inspect it closer. We could block those behaviors while we are holding something. Hmm. Interesting. We are checking if we're releasing here. So we could say we could join it with the release of the item. We could say that technically everything is a throwing operation when you let go. It's just a matter of how long you've been holding the key before you let go. So if it's not null, so we're holding something. Sure. Or should we just do the left click that takes priority? Or should we just have a separate button for throwing? What do? We do E to pick up. And this is for letting go. Same thing, same button. I suppose any solution for now will be okay. Let's try this. Okay, so if it's not null, let's use the grab button. So if we're just pressed, we will make a record. If we are holding it, then throw time is going to be the difference between the current time and the last time we extracted it. Let's say that we'll clamp it between 0 and 1 second. Maybe 2 seconds. Let's do that. Okay, so that's been clamped. And then when we release, if we release, let go of the held item, physically held item becomes null. Let go of the held item does all of this stuff. We could say throw held item, which will largely do the same stuff. Held becomes false. We don't need to print anything. Before we let go of the node, we're going to throw it. So, come on, you asshat. There we go. Linear velocity is going to be where we are looking, which is the player's camera. Cam. Do I have a reference to it? We do not. Okay. Camera 3D. dot global transform dot basis dot z. I'm pretty sure this has to be a negative. Okay. And now we need to tell what is the strength. Throw strength. So we're going to multiply. Basis.z would be whatever the camera is looking forward. That's going to become the linear velocity. Then we separate it. Maybe a good idea to do so last, even though technically it all happens within the same frame. Cool. All right. So that is right here. Throw held item. And the strength will be the throw time. And we need to divide it by... let's see. If it's 1,000, then it's the speed of 1. 2,000, actually. Okay, if it's 200, then it would be 10. That's the fastest speed we could throw it. All right, and also physically held item is already being set as null in that function, I believe. Physically held item. Yes, so we don't need to do that again. Alrighty. Now, it might fly, but I don't think it's going to display the value. Pick. Oh, a little far. Just a bit. Let's divide that by further by 20. I got that freaking Michael Jordan dunk strength over here. Let's do that, and while we're here, let's get the throw animation in place. Throw UI animation, that is. There we go. Value equals. We need a value from between this value to 100. So we're going to do the remap. Nice. Okay, we're going to use the built-in remap this time. From 0 to 2000, 0 to 100. Okay. And then when we let go, the value is set to 0. What a weak pansy-ass throw. Okay, so maybe dividing by 20 wasn't such a smart idea. Okay. All right. Ah, that's too much. Let's divide by 10. Now it's just fine-tuning. Okay, well, now it's weak again. 5. Can we make it not be displayed right away? Yeah, it's a bit weak. Maybe divided by 2 was okay. Seems like there's always going to be a throw. Oh. Huh. Let's print the value. Let's see what it looks like. It does start out at 0. Isn't it more powerful the less time you throw it? It's not, but it does increase quite quickly. Interesting. Oh, I think I know exactly what it is. We detect when it's just pressed. It records the time. If we let go immediately, we are dealing with milliseconds though. So it's very easy for milliseconds to accumulate quickly. There you go. So within just that alone, it was 33. It was at 33. We do divide it by 200 and then again by 3. But maybe this is where I need to check if it has been at least, say, half a second, quarter of a second, since we've been holding it. So let's say we're going to do, if this is above 250 milliseconds, only then we should start, we should clamp it first. Only then we should start applying the UI, and then when we release, if it was above 250 milliseconds, then we throw, else we let go peacefully. I don't know why there's a return there. Actually, yeah, that should be because it cancels the rest of the code. There we go. Okay. What the? Just pressed. Pressed. Released. F throw time defined. Oh. Dang it. That is correct. Thank you. It's a redefined local variable, so it wasn't preserving any value. Okay. Well, now I can't interact with it at all. Ah, there we go. I think it was inside of a collision shape with a element. Okay, so now something else is wrong. Let's see. Wait, throw time. What the hell am I doing here? Throw time equals time minus throw time? What? That was supposed to be a separate variable. That was throw time difference. And then we work with that. Okay. I'm an idiot. I got it. There we go. And then this is a local variable now, though. So So we'll just recalculate it here. Cool. Yo, what's up? Not much. Working on... There we go. Beautiful. The throw's a little weak, but at least now we're working with proper values, so we know exactly why it's weak. Okay, yeah, so we can start dialing this down. 50. Nice. Maybe it's a bit much. 100. Okay, I think that could work. And then... What? Oh, we are picking it up right away. Hence why there's supposed to be a return after we do this. So it doesn't go into the pickup code after that. Well, throwing stuff's going to be handy for multiplayer. I gotta say, the more we're going into it, the more it's starting to look like the game is going to be not single player, but it's going to be linear story. Now, if it's linear story and we have a main character, how does that exactly get translated to multiplayer? There we go. Oh, okay, that shouldn't really be there. Okay, cool. It's almost 4 hours. I think we can take a break here. That should be good. What have we done? Throwing held objects. Beautiful. A lot of these like vine and root systems we've technically finished. Adding upper floor to the chapel. Maybe we'll focus on that one. Cool. Should compensate for the 250 millisecond delay in the throw animation. Yes. Or I could just say 250. Oh yeah, no, that's not gonna work. Okay. I could do something like this. Row UI alpha 0.0. If we're holding it, it will be 1.0. And then here, somewhere, preferably before we return. We can do UI modulate alpha, smooth transition to this, minus what it is right now, divided by 10. and then it fades in smoothly. Which means we can also not reset it to 0 so that it fades out. Just resetting the start value. I don't think we need to compensate for the throw, because otherwise, if you let go just at the beginning, it's going to be like a non-existent throw, as if you just let go of the item. Also, Jolt just failed us miserably. Where the shit did that go? Okay. Yeah. Nice. Yeah, so this is just to make sure that when you throw it with the smallest of values, it doesn't just plop down. You can let go for it to plop down. Doesn't the remap only affect the animation? Yes. Which, again, it's fine. My solution to it was to make the interface fade in smoothly. So you can't even tell. Beautiful. We should make it so that if you throw a battery that is overcharged and it hits the floor hard enough, it explodes. Cool. Alright. Double check something. Whoops. Okay, that's not what I wanted to do. Let's get back. Oh, God. Okay, here we go. Where's my item? Makeshift pry tool. Nice, I love it. With the power of friendship, we're gonna... Oh. Oh, that was the indicator that I missed it. I missed the cue. And it broke my tool. Sure. Nice. Alrighty, cool. Break time. We gotta wrap it up. Thanks, fellas. Appreciate it. I need... Man, if I'm gonna be streaming or recording or doing any sort of work for 3 hours in a row, 4 hours in a row, I really need to get into the habit of stopping the video recording and then starting it again at about 1 hour mark. Because it's a 3.5 hour stream. Nobody's going to be watching that. Maximum maybe like 1 hour chunks. That would be more reasonable. But I keep forgetting, and that's not good. It also makes it a pain in the ass to upload the videos to Vimeo, because Vimeo gives you only a limited amount of upload quota per week. So if I have 2 gigabytes left and my video is 3 gigabytes or 2.5 gigs, I can't upload it. But if it was segmented into smaller 1 hour chunks, maybe I would. How you made that realistic head bobbing? It's part of the rig, the hands rig. You can see there's a bone for the camera. So any sort of intricate hand animations, which, by the way, I really need to add camera head bobs to takeout animations, various takeout animations. Yeah, so it just plays it back from there. Okay, cool. That's it. We'll continue in the next one. And, drop a sub if you haven't, and we'll continue in the next. Maybe tonight.